The valley lay forgotten, shrouded in mist and silence, a shroud woven from time and neglect. Towering trees stood sentinel, their branches gnarled like arthritic fingers. They clawed at the edges of the sky. At the valley's heart, nestled amongst the overgrowth, lay a deserted village. Its houses, once vibrant and alive, now stood empty. They were decaying, reclaimed by nature. The village was a ghost of its former self, haunted by whispers of a past long gone. The path leading into the village was overgrown and treacherous. Thorny bushes snagged at clothing, eager to claim any visitor as their own. The air hung heavy with the smell of damp earth and decaying wood. A lone hawk circled overhead, its piercing cry the only sound that dared to break the oppressive silence. The valley was a place of forgotten stories, waiting for someone to listen. Elara, a young woman with a thirst for adventure, had heard tales of the forgotten valley. She was drawn to the stories of its past, to the legend of the hill witch who resided there. Driven by curiosity and a longing for something more than her ordinary life, she set out to find the valley. Her backpack was filled with supplies, and her heart with anticipation. She was prepared to face the unknown. The journey was arduous, but Elara pressed on. She was undeterred by the treacherous terrain and the whispers of danger that followed her like shadows. She believed that within the valley's hushed stillness, she would find something extraordinary, something that would breathe life into the monotone of her existence. As she ventured deeper into the heart of the valley, the feeling that she was being watched intensified. The wind picked up as Elara entered the village. It stirred the leaves in the trees, creating a symphony of rustling whispers. She couldn't shake the feeling that the whispers were trying to tell her something. They seemed to warn her, urging her to turn back. But Elara was not one to be deterred. She pressed on, her hand resting on the compass attached to her belt, her only guide in this desolate place. The houses loomed before her, their empty windows like vacant eyes staring into her soul. The silence was broken only by the creaking of the wind and the rustle of leaves. Yet Elara could sense hidden presences, lurking just beyond her vision. She felt a chill crawl up her spine, despite the warmth of the sun on her skin. She was not alone. A figure emerged from the shadows of a dilapidated cottage. Old and frail, with piercing blue eyes that seemed to hold centuries of wisdom and sorrow, she was the embodiment of the valley's spirit. This was the Hill Witch, the subject of local legends. Her voice, when she spoke, was raspy but held a strange allure. She told Elara a tale of love, betrayal, and a curse that bound the villagers' souls to the valley. The witch spoke of a time when the village was alive with laughter and joy. She spoke of a love so strong that it defied the boundaries of life and death. But her words were laced with a deep sadness. She spoke of a betrayal that shattered the valley's peace, unleashing a wave of pain that resonated through time. Her voice cracked with emotion as she revealed the curse that bound the villagers to their spectral existence. Section 5. A Valley Cursed. The witch's tale unveiled the tragic fate of the villagers. Blinded by jealousy, a spurned lover had made a pact with dark forces. He cursed the valley so that no soul could find peace after death. The villagers were trapped between worlds, their souls unable to move on. The valley, once a haven of life, became a prison for the dead. The witch described the villagers' plight with a heavy heart. They wandered the valley as forlorn spirits, unable to escape the confines of their spectral existence. They were shadows of their former selves, forever bound to the land they once called home. Their silent cries for release echoed through the valley, unheard and unanswered. Until now. Section 6. The Spirit's Plea. Elara felt a cold hand brush against hers. She gasped, but her fear gave way to compassion when she saw the translucent figure of a young woman standing before her. Her eyes were filled with a deep, unending sadness. Other figures began to emerge from the shadows, men, women and children, their forms shimmering like heat haze. They were the cursed villagers, their spectral faces etched with pain and a desperate plea for release. Their voices, whispers carried on the wind, spoke of their torment. They yearned for peace, for release from the chains of their spectral existence. They begged Elara to help them, to break the curse that bound them to the valley. Their pleas tugged at her heartstrings, stirring within her a deep well of compassion. She had to do something. Elara's heart ached for the villagers' plight. Their suffering was palpable, their despair a heavy weight upon her soul. She couldn't turn away from their pleas for help. Looking into their sorrowful eyes, she made a promise. She would break the curse, no matter the cost. The witch warned Elara of the risks. Breaking a curse was no easy feat. It required a pure heart, a strong will, and a willingness to confront the darkness that held the valley captive. But Elara was resolute. She had faced many challenges in her life, but nothing could have prepared her for this. Yet she wouldn't back down. She would honor her promise. Standing in the heart of the village, guided by the witch's instructions, Elara closed her eyes. She dug deep within herself, searching for a flicker of light in the encroaching darkness. She thought of the villagers' pain, their longing for peace. It fueled her resolve. She spoke the words of the spell, her voice strong and clear, echoing through the silent valley. The valley pulsed with energy. A blinding white light erupted from the ground, bathing everything in an ethereal glow. The air crackled with magic, the intensity of it almost unbearable. Elara held her ground, her body trembling with the effort. She wouldn't let go, not until the curse was broken. As quickly as it began, the light subsided. The valley fell silent. The air, once thick with magic, was now light and clear. The spectral villagers, bathed in the afterglow of the white light, slowly began to fade. Their faces, once etched with pain, were now serene. Smiles graced their lips as they whispered their gratitude to Elara. Then, like wisps of smoke on a gentle breeze, they were gone. Elara collapsed to her knees, utterly drained, but her heart soaring with a profound sense of peace. She had fulfilled her promise. The curse was broken, the villagers finally at peace. As dawn broke over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, a single bird song pierced the morning silence. It was a sound of hope, signaling a new beginning for the valley. The witch, her eyes filled with tears, embraced Elara. For the first time in centuries, a genuine smile graced her lips. The valley, free from the curse, thrummed with a newfound energy. The trees seemed to stand taller, their leaves greener and more vibrant. The air was alive with the sound of birdsong and the rustle of small animals venturing out from their hiding places. The valley was no longer a place of sorrow, but a sanctuary waiting to be rediscovered. Elara knew it was time for her to leave. Her work here was done. She had played her part in the valley's story, bringing an end to generations of suffering. As she made her way out of the valley, she took one last look at the village, now bathed in the golden light of a new dawn. It was a sight she would never forget. The valley and its secrets would forever hold a special place in her heart. She left, not with sadness, but with a sense of peace and a heart full of hope for the future. The valley was no longer forgotten, it was reborn.